We've officially been approved for a 12-month digital nomad visa in Malaysia. If you've been following along here, then you know that this program is called Rantau. If you're new, welcome. We've done a whole series of videos on this application process, and I'll include a link to the playlist below.
We're going to share the process and the next steps now that we've finally been approved.
We received our approval letters as well as further instructions via email. Now, MDEC had let us know through email about a week in advance that we had been approved, but we still had to wait the additional week before we got the actual approval letter. So even if you notice that the status on your application has changed to approved, please still try to be patient. This process takes a while. So how long did this application process take from application to approval? Rantau started accepting applications at the beginning of October. It was about October 17th by the time we submitted ours because it took us a while to get some of the necessary documents. So overall, this entire process took us 5.5 months. However, that's partially because our application was stalled for 3 months while we were in Japan. We needed to submit some certified true copies, and we weren't able to do that until we came back to Malaysia. I explained how we did that in our previous video, our January update, but once we were able to submit everything needed from our end, the application process sped up from there.
What we need to do now. First, personal bond. We were sent an agreement that needs to be signed. However, at the bottom, it also says that you need a witness signature. Don't do that part. Just do your part and return it to MDEC. Now, we have chosen MDEC to be our sponsor, so we need to pay the bond of 2,000 ringgit. You do this online, and once you've done that, you want to take the receipt and send that back to MDEC. Number 2, e-visa. It'll give you an option of which category to choose. We chose expatriates. The rest of the process was pretty easy until we went to the checkout and it would not accept our credit card no matter what we would do. So finally, I contacted immigration through their chat, which was extremely slow, but they did answer my question. And if you are having the same issue as us, first of all, log into the chat and ask them if your credit card company will be accepted. They happen to know, for instance, that ours didn't work and they told us to use another one, which we did try, but that also didn't work. So you're continuing to have issues. What you want to do is first log out of any session that you have, open Chrome in an incognito window, log in and try the process again. Once we did this, we were finally able to pay for our e-visas for each of us. The cost for each visa for each person was 111.89 ringgit. And within 2 or 3 business days, we are supposed to receive a confirmation for that, if all goes well. Once we have that, we need to send this also to MDEC. Number 3, you need to register with the tax department, of course. And I ran into an issue here as well. Under the section Particulars of Employment, there is a drop-down menu where you are supposed to choose your type of employment. And it's kind of ridiculous because it has a drop-down with over 6,000 choices. Yes, 6,000. And at least in Chrome, there is no way for you to search. So it's almost impossible for you to be able to find your employment choice. And on top of that, it is in Bahasa Malay. If you're having the same problem, you might want to try this. First, use Chrome browser. Right-click on that select box and choose Inspect Element. What it's going to do is it's going to open up a little window that's going to show you where that drop-down box is. Click on that and it's going to show you this list. You might have to click multiple times to keep showing the list. And again, it's, at least for me, it was in Bahasa Malay. So what I did, I went to Google Translate, entered in some ideas in English of what my employment category would be, and it translated into Bahasa Malay. Then I took the Bahasa Malay and did a search in the Google, in the Inspector Element area until I found the correct one. This was a time-consuming process. Hopefully you don't have the same issue. Number 4, health insurance. Of course you need health insurance, but in this case they want you to submit proof of health insurance for 3 months. It doesn't specify the type of health insurance that you need, so we're going to continue using our Nomad insurance through Safety Wing. We've been happy with them and we'll continue to use them. Number 5, the Digital Nomad Pass. You don't get this until you actually return back to Malaysia. So you're going to have to submit all the information, which is number 1, proof of your bond, proof of payment of your bond, 2, proof of your e-visa, 3, proof of your tax registration, and 4, proof of your health insurance. All those need to be submitted to MDEC. And then you will enter Malaysia with your e-visa, or if you want, instead of going the e-visa route, for instance, if you just can't pay online through your credit card, then just go into the consulate office and get your visas there. What did this all cost us? Let's go through all the details from day one. Our first expense was a letter of good conduct, and we did this through the FBI in the United States. So this required me to go to the Royal Malaysian Police and get my fingerprints done. And then I was able to submit this to the FBI. And the cost involved with that was $18 for the FBI fee and $22 for express shipping. I also paid 35 ringgit to get my fingerprints done at the Royal Malaysian Police. In addition to that, I applied through MOFA to have a background check done here in Malaysia. And once that was done, I had to go to Putrajaya and pay 20 ringgit to get that letter as well. Now note, you don't have to do both of these. I just did them both because when I first tried to do the background check here in Malaysia, they told me it would take 1 to 2 months. And also the background check through the FBI said it could take about the same amount of time. So we did both just to see if one would be faster than the other. And surprisingly, they were both done within 10 days. Other fees were miscellaneous expenses to get a lot of things photocopied and transportation. Next is the actual D-Rantau application fee. There are 5 of us, and so the total cost for that is 3,180 ringgit. Later on, we paid 225 ringgit here at the US Embassy in Malaysia to get our children's birth certificates and our marriage certificate notarized. The e-visas for each person cost 111.89 ringgit per person for a total of 560 ringgit. And once we get to Putrajaya, before our nomad passes will be issued, we also need to pay another fee. For the main applicant, it's 366 ringgit, and for each dependent, it's 146 ringgit. So because there's 5 of us, that total comes out to 950 ringgit. Also, we are not including the cost of our airfare because we were in Malaysia to start with, and in order to get the D-Rantau Pass, you have to be out of the country and return. One more fee, which we hope to get back, is the personal bond, and that was 2,000 ringgit. So if you add this all up, the total is 7,315 ringgit, or about $1,635. Again, the 2,000 ringgit is for a bond, and if all goes well, we should get that back after our year or when we leave the D-Rantau program.
We'll be returning to Malaysia soon, and we plan to share the process we go through looking for an apartment to rent. We'll share with you the areas we're considering, our criteria for selecting a specific apartment, so please come along for that journey. Whether you're a digital nomad, long-term traveler, or just interested in traveling in Malaysia, we hope you subscribe and join us.